Hi, this is Brian from Denmark, your tech friend, always at your international service, and today I'll be making a direct comparison of the Samsung A40 and the Motorola One Action. These come around the same price bracket right now in Denmark. This one I bought for 1,000 crowns, that's about 130 US dollars, and also this one I bought secondhand actually for 1,000 crowns some months ago, also for $130 US. Let's find out which one you should buy. First test, power on. Let's see who boots the fastest. I've pressed the buttons exactly the same time. I can tell you a little about these phones as I'm waiting, and that is, I've used this one actually for like over a month as my primary phone. And this one I'm just starting to use as my primary phone. And you will notice the differences in these phones as this review goes along. Now we got a log on for this one. And the Samsung is still thinking about it. Now the Motorola One Action is actually on. And as you can, and now I gotta plug in my code for the this is Samsung A40, and now it's still starting up. How much time have we got from startup? We're passing 1 minute now from I started this recording, and there we got it. Now the Samsung A40 is up and running. That was just the first little comparison. Now let's try out some music. That was the Action. Well, you don't have to be a musician to tell that there's a clear difference here. We've got a winner and we've got a loser. So it's 2 wins versus 2 losses. Okay, then there is the third and the fourth thing, and you just got to take my word for it, because just in normal everyday use, this phone is just as you would expect. It reacts instantly and there's no delay. But there is almost like half a second delay on everything you do with this Samsung A40. And it is just so annoying. And then there is the UI. Right now I've turned on this one is the classic Samsung UI upon the Android, and this is like the clean Android. I think it's called Android One actually. Right out of the box from Motorola, and this has some different swiping gestures. You can like swipe. Oh, just a moment. You can just swipe halfway up there, and you can swipe completely down to the app drawer button, and you can swipe up and down like this, and then you can go down this. Just a moment. But the thing is about this is I think it's really cool. And it's very intuitive. I can just give you a very good example of this system where it actually works. Like say you're in some sort of, you're on some kind of web page and you've been scrolling up and down, and then you want to get out of it. You just swipe to the left, right in the middle of the phone, and you get back to where you came from originally. So you don't have to like press the back button down here, or like on the iPhone's back button all the way up there. By the way, if you want to have reached the button, the top drawer for specs, you just swipe down, then it gives you some of the, then you can swipe even more down to choose from these. So that's all this kind of swiping you can do with the Moto Action, or the gestures that also are in Motorola's system. But this phone is like the very old school buttons. I actually prefer these, but I kind of like those also. But it's just not the same. You can see I can't swipe to the top drawer, app drawer of this phone. I have to do all the way from the top to get access to my shortcuts and different things here. Also, if you want to shoot video, these two phones are worlds apart. Just trust me on this, because the amount of settings you can do on the Motorola One Action is like tremendously cool, and especially the action cam feature. I'll just show you right quick. Okay, so there. Try and look, especially for the Motorola. Look like when I try to move the picture up and down, how steady it holds it. It is unbelievably good action stabilization on this action cam. And you can hold in like in this vertical position when you record horizontally. So it is absolutely brilliant. This is like the regular old style phone, and it has no stabilization nor on the low setting or any high setting at all. And of course you have to film like this to get the same shot. And also this one is actually capable of 4K recording in the normal standard way, whereas this Samsung A40 is not. So I know this is sounding a bit biased, but I've just come from this. I've really been giving it a try. I've used it for a month, and it is just so annoying because the reason I jumped to it was the form factor. Look at it. It's just like it has. If you can see the Motorola. I actually prefer a smaller phone, and you can see they're about the same width, but the height is different. And of course the newer phones are like gigantic mammoths in comparison with these guys. But it's pretty easy to grip, though it has this long form factor. But I've been using this, as I said, for a month, and it just keeps on annoying. You should not buy this phone if you are a video recording enthusiast. It's just not good enough. If you are an everyday user of phone, a young person who's used to, like, when you press something, it reacts instantly and it comes on your screen right away, then you should not buy this phone. You should buy this phone if you're an older person and you can accept like half to 1 second of waiting time each and every time you press something. It is just that slow, and I don't know why they put that Exynos slow CPU in this phone, because it would have been brilliant if they just upped it to like perhaps some 1.8 or 2 gigahertz CPU quad core or something, or even put a Snapdragon in it. Then of course would be brilliant. Then it would have been really good phone besides the video quality. I'll just show you some of the cameras here. Well, it's a sort of a 6-0 win to the Motorola Action if you are comparing these two guys and wondering which one should I buy of these two. If you're a modern person, a young person, or a modern kind of cell phone user, you will not want to buy the A40 at no circumstances. And as these come at the same price bracket, just trust me on this. This is Brian from Denmark with a very quick phone comparison. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to Your Tech Friend, and I'll have a lot of the similar videos coming up with all these kind of budget or mid-range phones. Okay, I'll just try to prove my point exactly by installing Geekbench on both of them now. Okay, so there you have the two devices according to Geekbench, what's inside of them. And as you can see, it's a 4-core CPU, 164 GHz. There's a 6 GHz, 6 cores, 1.59 GHz on the right on the Samsung A40. Then as well we have 2 cores. They can just give me a bit more power. And we have 4 cores to give it 2.21 GHz. This last one there is exactly what gives it the capability to record video in 4K. But let's now try these two and see what they amount to in this test. Let's see the test itself, which of them will do the fastest. So already you can see just performing the test, the Motorola One Action is just pulling ahead now, 6% versus the 2% on the Samsung A40. Well, it just jumped to the 6% also. It's already like, I don't know, 10-15 seconds behind. And you can feel this in daily use. And now the Motorola One Action has finished the job, giving it a Geekbench score of 340, single core score, and a multi-core score of 1338. Okay, so both of the phones are finished now, and that is the Samsung A40, and it has a single core score of 272 and a multi-core score of 1007. And you can see that the Motorola One Action has a single core score of 340 and a multi-core score of 1338. Now, what all this means is of course difficult to say, other than I can tell you that this one was finished like about 2 minutes before this one had even finished the Geekbench. So it is just, you can also see here, it's got a faster chipset, the Exynos 9610 versus the Exynos 7904. What else can we learn from this? Well, anyhow, as you can see, the Motorola One Action just beats the Samsung A40 in every aspect. And just trust me on this, as I said, in everyday use, this phone sucks, and this phone is quite alright. I've had no problems with this phone at all whatsoever until now, to this day. Whereas this phone sucks because you always gotta wait like half a second, 1 second for each thing to open as you have multiple things open. So do not buy the Samsung A40, buy the Motorola One Action. It also with the Motorola One Action comes with the Android One UI, and this one comes with the Samsung Android One UI, and that One UI, that's the Samsung's on top of the Android 10 version. Whereas this comes with Android 10 with the Android One UI on top of it, also with some of the Motorola Action over it. But all in all, as I said, do not buy this phone, buy this phone.